Hello, welcome to Giggles and Gratitude. I'm Dena.
And I'm Tia. And today is August 25th, 2024.
Happy Sunday, Tia.
Happy Sunday.
You know, it's hard to avoid this topic, although it says in our podcast description that we don't talk about it. But I do want to address just a little briefly that we are coming upon we're in a political season. We have been all summer, but we're really going down the home stretch in intensity, and it's just around the corner. The election's just around the corner, and we don't discuss it here because it is so stressful and divisive, but I think we're all just being bombarded with it. It's been kind of a crazy one this time for different reasons, and so I just kind of searched out scripture to address that, maybe for my own sake, because it really does divide people, even in my family and my friends.
Mm-hmm.
This is from a newsletter that I subscribe to called The Pour Over. Internal perspective. The names on the ballot this election may feel monumental, but in the scope of eternity, they're but a speck of dust. Viewing our lives in light of eternity doesn't mean we don't care about present issues, but it reminds us to keep our focus on Christ and live as citizens of His kingdom, not this kingdom. And that's backed up in 2 Peter 3:10 through 12. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. On that day the heavens will pass away with a loud noise. The elements will burn and be dissolved, and the earth and the works on it will be disclosed. Everything will be disclosed. Since all these things are to be dissolved in this way, it is clear what sort of people you should be in holy conduct and godliness as you wait for the day of God and hasten its coming. And there's a full passage which goes on. You can look that up. 2 Peter 3:10 through 12. So I have been accused, like certain people in my family who say, Dena, don't you care? You know, when they'll tell me things, and I'll say, there's nothing I can do about that. It's out of my hands. You know, all I can do is vote, pray, live my life. And it frustrates them. Like, why aren't you upset? You know, regardless of what they believe, whether they believe one side or the other, they're so wrapped up in it, which I understand. Sometimes politics is somebody's passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not my passion, so I get it. But I think it's good to reiterate, although people probably know this already, you can be mindful but not be dragged down by it. Remember what's important. Thoughts.
I just don't worry about it at all because, I mean, God certainly isn't. He already knows what's going to happen, and so it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever way, and there's going to be a reason and a rhyme for the way it turns out. And I'm certainly not upset I have my beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do exactly what you're doing. I will vote, and I'll vote on what my morals are, and that's about all I can do because everything else is out of my control.
Mm-hmm. Unless you want to run for office, there's not a lot you can do but vote.
Right.
And
I certainly don't want to do that.
What?
Run for
Oh,
office.
I was gonna say.
No.
Yeah, not fun, not fun. I also wanted to say a correction. I've got another correction. Last week we talked about Revelation, and I kept saying Revelations, and you kind of corrected me by saying Revelation. You know, that's one of those things, like I say Aldi's instead of Aldi, or Kroger's instead of Kroger. And it's funny because I was listening to the Bible Project you recommended last week. People do that because they draw it out and talk about it in a very storied way that you can understand, fun way. And they said, it's Revelation, not Revelations, by the way. That's what they first said at the beginning. I thought, oops. Did I say Revelations? I went back to look. I don't know why I do that. I mean, I think it's important to correct it. Because I know some people that just pull their hair out when they hear somebody say the wrong thing. And I do it quite a bit. If you talk as much as we talk every week, twice a week, you're going to say dumb things. It's just, I can't let it stop me.
No.
I've never let stupidity stop me.
Well, I've got some good news for you.
You do? What?
Oh, yeah. It has nothing to do with what we just talked about.
Okay, that's fine.
But, you know, when you said you wanted to be in the Olympics
Yeah.
in 2028.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre is going to be in the 2028 Olympics for archery.
He is?
Yes.
Dr. Dre?
Yes. And I thought, well, you'll be sitting right there with Dena, I guess.
I better get busy.
I
That's wild.
almost collapsed. And I was already sitting down. When he said that, I went, no, you did. No, you did not.
So that means he's been training all this time.
No.
He just decided he's going to try for it.
Yes, he said, I decided that I think I'm going to just try and get in the Olympics in 2028. And the guy that was interviewing said, well, what are you going to do? And he said, archery. I literally, and I was already sitting down, so I couldn't collapse other than just throw my head back and go, you've got to be kidding me.
And I bet you his rap partner, whose name I can't think of at the moment, what group he was in, I loved him, but didn't discourage him. I bet they were encouraging.
No, he even said everybody thought he was ridiculous.
Oh, they did?
Yes. So,
I've got to get on this.
well, I think that maybe you should find a way to contact him and you all train together.
That would be awesome.
See?
I would love that.
You can become a rapper. Not a break dancer.
I was going to say.
Nope, a rapper. You can stand there and do it. You don't
Yeah.
have to exert much energy other than your mouth.
True.
And you're good
At rapping?
with your mouth.
I use it a lot. I don't know if I'm good at it. Well, several things went through my mind when you said that. First, I thought you were going to say that he is going to enter the breaking contest.
Nope.
The other thing I thought was he's a doctor, so if I train with him and I hurt myself, then he could help me.
He's not that kind of a dog. Yeah, because one of his best friends is Snoop.
That's true. That's true. I bet that's what got him excited was Snoop Dogg was at the Olympics. Snoop Dogg got paid a lot of money to be at the Olympics. He was like giving it a cool factor.
I never saw him except once.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch through the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I didn't even see highlights of him.
I think he just did a lot of commercials and they show him in the audience watching stuff,
Oh.
Did a little PR. He might not even have been there, really. Who knows? But I think he and Martha Stewart were there a lot. But to officially close out our Olympic talk, guys, until, the Paralympics are coming up, which is a good thing.
Yes.
So we may end up, if there's a big story about that, we may end up touching on that. But otherwise, I'm through at the Olympics until 20.
Okay, but I thought that would be very interesting to you.
It's very interesting.
Okay,
No, I just had on here officially close out the Olympics by saying this, and then we're still in it. So
No,
that's
we're
great.
not. You are.
well, you remember the actress Gina?
Davis?
Yes, she was almost made it into. I think she just barely didn't qualify. However that terminology is, she went through a lot of rounds, but didn't make the final cut.
She barely didn't qualify. Okay.
That was some great English right there.
What the-
Great sentence structure. She almost qualified is what I should have said. You're always supposed to say the positive, right? The negative. But anyway, that would have been something to see. She's so tall and,
Yeah,
That would've
she
been cool.
is.
So maybe I'll try to do that. Who knows? This was a muggy, buggy summer for me. I was attacked by yellow jackets. I was bombarded by June bugs in my head. And a couple of days ago, my mom and I were kind of winding down for the day. It was about 9:30, I guess. And I sat down on the couch in the living room. Everything was quiet. I was rubbing my little dog. And I heard this sound. Right by my head. Now, what do you think that is?
A cricket?
That's what I thought. I said, oh, no, Mom. We have a cricket in the house. I can't go to sleep with the cricket in the house. We've got to figure out where it is. And I walked around the house looking, hoping it would make the noise again. And I looked up, and on the wall above the TV was a big, giant green leaf with legs on it. Like huge.
Oh, was it a praying mantis?
No, those are disgusting. It was a katydid.
Oh.
Because I had to Google it. I thought, what bug
Wait a
looks
minute,
like a
praying
giant green
mantises
leaf?
don't sound like that anyway.
I don't know if they make a noise or not.
They don't.
Okay, but they're the creepiest. Absolute creepiest. Only thing creepy than a katydid is a Praying mantis. Anyway, that was very loud in the living room. I saw it. I freaked. And that's when I wish I was married. That's the only time I wish I was married. When there's a bug in the house. Any kind of creature in the house. Or when my oil needs to be changed.
Please, you're going to tell me you tried to save it?
Well, what would you do? Squish a giant leaf on the wall?
Yes.
Would you really?
Of course I would.
Gross. You would have green slime.
Well, if it was a katydid, then I would have just got it with my hand and thrown it.
What? Why didn't I call you?
It would have already been gone by the time I ever
Gone
gotten there.
Gone where? Into my bedroom? All right, the first thing I do whenever I see a creature in my house that I don't want to touch, I Google, how long does it live?
Oh.
If it says 3 days, I think I can coexist 3 days with this thing in my house. But it said a year to 2 years, so I didn't know how old. No way for me to know how old it is. It looked fully grown. Well, my mom said, just squish it. Right. It was like you. I'm not going to squish a big, huge, fat, winged, four-legged, antennaed thing that's like 3 inches long on my wall and have green legs stuck
Well, no. I mean, you just clean it off and then repaint over it.
Just clean the brains off.
Yeah.
Pull the stuck legs off. I cannot. They suggested, I put how to get a katydid out of my house. They suggested pinch its back wings together so it can't fly, open the door, open the door first would probably be better. Pick it up with your hand. I'm not going to touch it.
Okay.
It's disgusting. So I told Mom, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to come up with? Some kind of plan. She said, are they attracted to light? I said, I don't know. So I Googled it. Yes, they're attracted to light. So we turned off all the lights. I turned on the hall light, opened the front door, left the storm door closed. But she said, you can't open the door and let it fly out because other bugs are going to come in. So I just opened the big door, the wooden door, left the storm door closed, turned on the hall light, and I said, I'm going to go back and get some things done in my room on the computer and let me know if it moves into the hallway. So it did. I mean, she said, Dena, it's in the hall. It's near the light. So I got a broom and I swatted at it, opened the door and fixed it where it would stay open, and I swatted at it. It flew, it buzzed in my hair, it flew, and I screamed, and I ran, and I dropped the broom. Boogie started barking. It landed closer to the door, and then when it did that, I hit it one more time, and it flew into the door frame, so I couldn't shut the door. I would have squished it. Then the door was open, letting other bugs in, so then I took the broom, and I swatted it, and it flew away. So it was a happy ending for everybody, but it took a while.
I think what I'm getting out of this is that every day is a learning experience for you, because apparently you and your mom Google a great deal. Like on what's outside, what's inside.
What's outside is inside.
Well, right, but are they attracted to light? Okay.
How long do they live?
Never would I ever.
Really? Oh, and I forgot the most important part. That sound I just played on my phone.
Please don't do it again.
It's a YouTube video that lasts 2 minutes. I took my phone, I played it, I set it by the door so it would attract that katydid. That's the most important part of the story.
Well, did you think it was like a duck call? That was a katydid call?
I thought maybe it was a girl katydid and that was a boy katydid. There's no way to know. And he did seem to move whenever he heard that sound. He started kind of hopping that. Because they hop too. They hop and they fly.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the story, if there is one, is I managed to do it as a single woman. Get that bug out of my house with no harm to anyone.
Baby, I just don't know if that's something to brag about.
I think it is.
Okay.
You would be repainting your whole wall for the green slime that was stuck on it.
No, I would have just grabbed it with my hand and thrown it out.
Okay, I got distracted. And if you haven't listened, on Wednesday we had an episode on your memory and you get distracted. I was saying we're officially closing out our Olympic talk with this, and then for some reason I started talking about the katydid. I don't know. But I did want to say I was really, the Olympics started out on kind of a weird note, whether you believe the opening was, blasphemous or making fun of the Last Supper, or you believe it was just a creative recreation, whatever your thoughts are. There was a lot of controversy and ickiness and arguments, but there's a whole account on Instagram, probably more than one. The one I discovered is Olympic athletes thanking God publicly when they're being interviewed, and or pointing up when they're on the podium. I was so encouraged. These young, talented people were using that opportunity to speak out. I don't know if you've seen any of them talking or
I listen to an athlete speak every single day on my U version because that's who was given the verse of the day.
Really?
And then given their 1.5 to 2 minute talk about the verse of the day. And it was all athletes that were in the Olympics.
That is awesome.
I know.
Yeah, it was so encouraging.
Very.
I can't think of her name right now, but she broke some records. But I listened to a whole podcast with her, and it wasn't a Christian podcast. Every opportunity she had, she didn't say it in a obnoxious. I don't really want to say obnoxious because I don't think it's obnoxious to talk about the Lord if that's what you believe in. But she said it in a very graceful, kind, not changing the subject way, or putting in the interviewer's face. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but she was very classy and
she was genuine and just spoke.
Yeah, it wasn't like she was saying, I'm going to talk about God.
Truth.
Yeah, she did.
Not her truth, but the truth.
Yeah, and it just flowed conversationally from her mouth because it was true and in her conscience. But it was a beautiful thing. I just felt encouraged by that. And that's such a big platform. It's got to make a difference.
Yes.
But I did see where someone had interviewed her, and then they had taken all that out. And somebody played that edited video back where they had taken God's name out. Yeah, which... I've kind of gotten to the point where accepting that happens and still feel peaceful inside, it kind of makes me angry. It's like, I want to beat you up for God. Come over here. You don't insult my daddy like that. But I'm learning to be more peaceful about it. I got into a discussion, again, let's say online, which, why do I do this to myself? But there was, the astronauts that are stuck in space. It's a male and female. I'm not sure.
Yes, right. And because Greg was talking about it, and he said, we get mad if our flight's delayed.
At least we're not stuck in
for
space.
Like a day. Wait a minute, your flight's going to be delayed for another, 6 months.
And you have no food or water. And you need to go stand in this little capsule. With this other guy.
I would not be happy.
I know. It really scares me. And I meant to research to find out exactly what happened. And is there progress? Is it, as of today, is it updated? Is it better news? But I hope they have allowed for rations for months. When they're supposed to be 8 days, weren't they?
Yeah, something like that. And now they're going to be up there until what, December?
At least I think. It's scary. So the female astronaut is, I don't want to get this wrong. I don't know if she's Hindu or Buddhist or whatever, but she had her religious icons with her, and it was showing her, holding them up and showing them that was bringing her comfort or whatever. Well, that, of course, led to a religious discussion. Mm-hmm. And so I was reading the comments, and I read the point of views of everybody, and then I put prayer hands, praying heart, that they come back soon and safely.
Right.
And I got attacked because... I wasn't physically attacked, verbally attacked, because they said I was pushing my Christianity when she very obviously was not a Christian because she had these other icons of another religion. And I apologize for not knowing which one it is, but I can't remember. But I was not.
What does it matter?
I was just praying for her, you know. And so it hurt, made me angry, hurt me. Like I said, I want to beat you up for my dad. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And so I was... said, why do you get on here? Why do you even make a comment? Why do you even try? And I thought, no, I have to pray for someone. I'm allowed to say that I'm praying for this person.
Absolutely.
And so I was angry. I got the anger thing. And then, like a few scrolls up, swipes up, I came across Ian Simpkins, which I really identify with a lot of what he said. And, of course, 1 Corinthians, we all know 1 Corinthians is said at a lot of weddings about the definition of love. Mm-hmm. But... he said, using 1 Corinthians, put your name in place of love. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So it would say, Dena is patient. Dena is kind. Dena does not envy. Dena does not boast. Dena is not proud. Dena does not dishonor others. Dena is not self-seeking. Dena is not easily angered. She is. Dena keeps no records of wrongs. Dena does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Dena always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. So that's what I needed to hear in that moment, not to go tap, 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 tap.
Right.
Because I would just run that person further off from believing that I'm a loving Christian, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And God doesn't really need for me to argue for him, I don't think.
No.
I think he's got it covered.
He's got it covered. He just needs us as his voices.
Yeah. Like we said last week, be decisive, not divisive. And I was about to be very divisive.
Mm-hmm.
I left my prayer. That's what I wanted to do. And seriously, I think we all need to pray for those two to get back
Oh,
safely.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. What you got, girl?
Oh, I've just got my normal little verses that
I
I
wanna
like
hear
to
'em.
hear what you say. Because you always say something that I didn't think of.
Sometimes it's like, huh? Help me understand.
Okay, this one is by Audra Williams.
Audra Williams.
.com.
Oh, okay.
God has not changed his mind nor conditioned his heart to hate you just because you've changed your mind and heart about God. His love for you is the same as it was when he decided to die for you. Take that with you. God loves you unconditionally.
Yeah.
Fun.
Good to know. Good to know.
It is. Since you were about to be divisive.
Yes. That, and I'll meet people or see people online that I never will meet, and I think, how does God love that person? You know, I know I'm supposed to, and I think, okay, let me try to look at him the way he looks at him, and whew, I'm glad he's got it. I'm not, because it's really hard to love some people. I mean, you cannot
You don't-
wish harm
you-
on them, but to
Right,
love them?
but you love them, but you don't have to like them.
True. True. Why do you think God, and this might be too big of a question to spring on you, why do you think God allows, if God knows, because God knows everything that's going to happen, why does he allow someone like Jeffrey Dahmer to be created when he knows what he's going to do?
Well, because we live in a fallen world. And, I mean, God, he's the one that made those choices, not God.
Yeah, but God knew he was going to make those choices, right?
Well,
I mean, as
no,
far as we
because
know-
we have free will. So, no. I mean, he knows our stories, but we're the ones that have to make the choices.
Okay.
We can choose not to be a murderer, or we can choose to be a murderer.
Yeah. I saw somebody ask that the other day that was arguing against Christianity, and she said, somebody had said God is omnipotent. We don't worry because he knows what's going to happen. He knew what was going to happen from the beginning, and he's planned for it. And she said, well, then why did he let little Jeffrey Dahmer be born if he knew he was going to... I just feel like it'll all make sense and all have meaning. I didn't respond to her because I didn't want to screw up that moment, but I feel like there's a rhyme and a reason for why everything happens.
Right, but we live in a fallen world, and we do have free will. And so God loves and did love Jeffrey Dahmer. He chose the choices he made. Just think of all the choices that you've made in life, but God has stopped it before.
Mm-hmm.
You've, like, we were talking like last week about the car accident.
Right.
I mean, God intervenes, but the thing of it is I think that Satan, just like Satan was kicked out of heaven, I just think that he just had so much Satan in him that he couldn't see the light to try to be what God wanted him to be.
Okay.
Satan's powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
but the thing of it is he can't do anything unless we allow it.
Right. So God let it play out with the hopes Jeffrey Dahmer would make a different choice.
I
mean,
think
that might
that's
be a bigger
exactly,
question for us, but-
right. I mean, because God's going to have to answer that one. But yeah, that's how I see it
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Okay, I didn't mean to throw that one
Well,
on you in
no,
the middle
that's
of that.
fine.
Okay.
Okay, well, Pharisee taught believers unconsciously think they've earned God's blessing through their behavior. Guilt laden believers are sure they've forfeited God's blessing through their disobedience or lack of discipline. Both have forgotten the meaning of grace, God's unmerited favor to those who deserve only His wrath. It's by Jerry Bridges.
Okay, that one I'm struggling with.
Okay. Pharisee taught believers unconsciously think when you're just by the law, okay, of the Bible, the Old Testament, that's the law. When they think that they've earned God's blessing, you never earn anything.
So I think as long as they follow the Old Testament,
Right.
they'll go to heaven.
As long as they think they've done all the commandments and they've worked hard towards getting God's blessing, then they think that through that they're in God's favor.
So Jesus is not involved in that equation. Is that what you're saying for them?
Well, no, I'm just saying, I'm just relating that to the Old Testament, because as Pharisee type believers think that if they keep the law or they earn their way, you cannot earn your way to heaven. Okay. Guilt laden believers think that they forfeited God's blessing through disobedience or lack of discipline. Meaning, when you think, you know what, God could never love me because I've done this, I've done that.
Right.
I mean, how could He ever love somebody like me?
Right.
Both of them have forgotten that God's grace, He has favor over all the people that don't deserve it.
Right.
And you can't work your way, you can't earn your way, you can't be horrible enough for God not to still love you. God's going to love you because of the grace of God. He gives us mercy and grace.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Thank you for explaining.
Okay.
And I agree.
Okay. If you feel God has put a desire in your heart, He wants you to make moves. Stop doubting and go for it. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called.
Yeah.
That's by the Belle, Belle, life.blog.
I like that.
I do too.
And one day we talked about, because when you first said that, I thought, how do we know that that's our desire, His desire? There are triggers or there are red flags to look for. If it's your desire, it doesn't feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It feels really difficult with a lot of obstacles.
And it usually is difficult.
Yeah. So if it's God's desire, then it leaves you with a good feeling, not a, you know.
Right. And you don't struggle
Yeah.
as
Okay.
much.
Right.
Not that you won't have struggles,
Yeah.
but you don't struggle as much.
Yeah.
I thought this one was great. God uses broken things beautifully. Broken clouds pour rain. Broken soil sets as fields. Broken crop yields seeds. Broken seeds give life to new plants. So when you feel you are broken, be rest assured that God is planning to utilize you for something great.
Yeah.
That's Word of God ministry. I love that one.
Yeah. So when we're broken, stuff usually does spill out, whether
Yep.
it's tears or cries or reaching out to others. Stuff comes out when you're broken for sure. Things are going peacefully, you're kind of do.
Yeah, but God uses all broken things
Yeah.
for good.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
good
this
image.
one you're going to have to see, and maybe you can just put it in the show notes.
Okay.
But I love this one because this is Toby Mac.
Okay.
I love Toby Mac. Don't offer a lecture to a person who needs a hug. Isn't that the
Aw.
sweetest picture?
That's sweet. And that, oh my goodness, is that true? Don't offer a lecture to a person who's that. I'm guilty of doing
Isn't that
that.
sweet, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw that, and I was like, oh, wow. That just...
We go to that trying to solve the problem or trying to tell where, well, Tia, that happened because I don't want to say anything, but back when you did, you should have done da-da-da-da. When you really just like, would you shut up? Just give me a hug.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more of a man thing. I think men want to solve the problem, where a woman might be easier just to listen and say, I don't know what to do about it. I'm so sorry that happened. Do you need a hug? What do you need? What do you need? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes it is just a hug and not to say anything at all.
People usually know where they screwed up. You don't have to point it out. Usually.
Exactly. That was one last week. That was exactly what it said. People don't need to be reminded of their mistakes.
They're very aware.
They're very aware of them.
Yeah.
Just fine.
Exactly. Okay.
Another one by Toby Mac.
Okay.
Some thoughts are seeds that have been planted. Others are weeds born from our own soil. Either way, don't water what you don't want to grow.
Ooh. That's right.
Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm. There's another thing like this. Like, people think the grass is greener, but the grass that you water is going to be the greenest, you know. People think they're in an unhappy marriage. They see somebody else that's really green that they like better, but they might not try watering their own wife.
Marriage? Marriage?
That's one reason why I don't write memes.
Let's
try pouring some water on your wife before you go next door.
No, I think what that is saying actually is that things that grow and flourish are things that we put the most time into.
Tend your garden if you want it.
Tend your garden. Right. Yeah. Pull the weeds.
Yeah. Just like if you give more energy to negative things in your life, they're going to grow. And
right. It's just like fruit of the Spirit. I mean, people bear fruit when they're paying attention to actually gardening their fruit.
Right. Yeah. Don't pour water on your wife.
Don't pour. Yeah. Let's just not pour water on your wife or your husband, like Dena suggested at first. Let's just not do that for fun.
There's an art to writing memes, you know.
Well, I didn't know we were writing them.
I was trying to.
Oh, okay. What are your wife? I might use that one.
Okay.
Next time. And this is by Dena.
Yeah. Greg, she says I'm supposed to pour water over your head.
I don't know why, but maybe. Okay, last one.
Okay.
God does not give us everything we want, but He does fulfill His promises, leading us along the best and straightest paths to heaven. That's by Dietrich Bonhoeffer.
Okay. Bless you.
I know. It almost did sound, didn't it? Sorry.
No offense, Dietrich.
Whoopsie.
I'll have to look at that one to spell that one in our show notes. Because let me say the last name again. I'm going to see if I can spell it right.
All right. Dietrich, maybe?
No, Dietrich, I think.
D-I-E-T.
Yeah, don't spell the last name. I'm going to try to guess.
Okay.
Say it for me, though.
Bonhoeffer.
Bonhoeffer. Okay, I'm going to say that's Bonhoffner.
No, Hoeffer.
Oh, okay. Bonhoeffer.
Well, see, if I do that, that's why you say, well, that's, excuse you. Bless you. Thank you. You're
Let's
so
make fun of
pretty.
more people's names. That's really sweet.
You're so pretty.
I know. All right.
Oh,
do we want to leave on that note?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. We don't forget Tia time is next. I love you, Tia. I felt a little manic on this one. I was a little cuckoo. I didn't sleep well last night, but I appreciate you bringing in the meat of the show.
Well, I don't think I brought in the meat. I thought you brought in a lot of deli right there. That was good. Deli meat. Deli?
Thought you were telling me I was Delulu again.
No. No, not at all.
Okay. Well, I love you as usual.
And I love you. And I'm so happy that you and Dr. Dre are going to be in the 2028.
Boing. All right, bye, guys. Tia time next.
Bye-bye. Hello, and welcome to Tia Time. Today is by Sister I Am With You, and this is by Jess and Amy both. And this one, I'm going to say even before I start, this one really touched me just because I've had so many friends going through a whole lot, and I just think that this just speaks to all friends out there. Okay, it starts out, it says, "Hey friend, you can fall apart around me. You can lose it. You can say things you're not sure if you mean it or not. You can stress out. You can vent. You can verbally process. You can cry. You can let it all out. If you need to be dramatic for a minute, by all means, be dramatic. I'm here for it. I'm here for you. I'll listen. I'll lift you up. And if you decide you're open for some advice, I'll give you the best I have. But I'll hold my tongue until you're ready for it. In the meantime, I'll happily be your sounding board. What is friendship if we can't be a wreck sometimes? What is friendship if we're trying to filter out all of our pain? What is friendship if we're not there for all of it? Life is weird. Things are hard. And sometimes stuff just happens and we don't know quite how to deal. Holding it together all the time is exhausting. And having to be perfect in every response and every situation is impossible. So when you need to let go, you can trust me. I know your heart is gold. Will I sit back and let you make a big mistake? Nope. But I will sit back and let you have your moment 100%. Sometimes you're a mess. Sometimes I'm a mess. I'm just so glad we're doing it all together. So consider this your invitation to be dramatic, to be broken, to be confused, to be in the middle, and to be real. I'm here for you when you fall apart. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know why my emotions have emotions. I'm sorry. I don't know. Things just touch me, and I can see people saying this to me, and I've said this to other people. I just need to be more like that for others. Okay. Hope everybody has a blessed week.